Hey surveys, welcome back to K-Popsicles. I'm Paige.
I'm Kate.
And we are back. This is gonna be a little bit of a different intro, different vibe, different video. This is actually gonna be our concert update video. So we just want to talk to you guys about our experience going to the ATEEZ concert, all the fun stuff we got to do, all the friends we made, and just our whole kind of vibe and experience. So, we actually took a 8-hour train from upstate New York all the way into New York City, and then had to catch another train from New York City into Jersey.
Well, that train was 15 minutes.
It was a 15-minute train ride from New York to New Jersey, but the other one was about 7.5 hours or so. So we had a very long day. We left on like the Saturday before the show. And first time ever on a train, which was really fun. It was actually really comfy compared to like plane seats.
The bathroom was really nice compared to plane bathrooms.
Except for when it's shaking and you're trying to stand up and wash your
Yeah, I
hands.
almost fell over in the bathroom, but that's not the train's fault. That's the track's fault.
It was just a very shaky track. But once we got to New Jersey, it was really funny because once we got to the New York train station, we had like about an hour and a half layover until our next train. So we grabbed dinner, we went to the bathroom, we make sure, you know, we had...
Yeah, we got pizza, and like all of the tables in the pizzeria were full.
Oh
so
my god.
We sat next to Calm on the
Yeah,
floor.
that was
I
fun.
think we inspired a few other people to eat.
We did, because it's like there was nowhere to sit, so we're like, let's just sit here. And then after we sat down, like 3 other people came and sat down around the other poles around, just eating their food as well. We're like, hey, might as well, you have nowhere else to sit. Then we went and grabbed some more snacks and drinks from one of the convenience stores because they had like a shit ton. And then we had to hurry over, and we were in the waiting room for our next train when all of a sudden, like, this guy comes in and he goes, if you're looking for this train, line up. And we're like, oh, okay.
Okay, bye.
So we like, at first we didn't hear what he said, and like, everybody was almost gone.
Pretty much everyone got up, so we're just like, let's
yeah, so we're like, I guess we're following them, because we're like, what's happening? And they're like, we thought we had heard our train number when he said it.
And then like some of the other people in line were confused too.
Yeah.
Like, is this the right train?
Because
like, we think so.
We think so.
And then finally they put it on the board and it was the right train.
But then there was like no signage for what track was downstairs when we got down there. And so we were like super confused. We're like, is this the right train? So we're like, let's just follow the crowd of people. Just follow the crowd of people. And so we just jumped in one car and we're like, I hope to God we're on the right train.
And then thankfully you saw, so it was literally written in pencil on a wall. Track
the
12.
Tiniest written thing ever. I was like, I'm so glad I sat in the window seat and was able to see it, because I would have been freaking out the whole way.
Like the people in front of us who actually got off because they were on the wrong train.
Yeah.
And the seat right in front of us, remember that?
Oh my god, yeah, they're like, this is not the right train. I was like, oh my lord, that would have been us. And I'm like, I hope to God that's not us. So that was interesting. And then it was like another 15 minutes from that train. We get off at the Penn Station stop, and that station had 0 signage whatsoever. It was so confusing. Thank God we ran into a really nice kid who explained everything and told us how to get out of there, because we would have been walking for another hour and would have missed our Uber.
Because it's like, station this way, and we're like, okay,
so we're following it. And it didn't tell us that you had to go indoors, downstairs, and to the right to get into the actual station to get outside. So thank God the guy was nice enough and told us about it. So we get outside, we get our Uber, we get to our hotel, and it's great. We actually ended up at a hotel with other ATEEZ, so that was really funny, because like, we kind of ran into them when we were wearing our ATEEZ stuff, and they're like, hey, ATEEZ! And we're like, hey!
Yeah, and they were like the only ones we saw, because it was when we were checking in.
Yeah.
And then after the concert, we saw more
of them, yeah.
We all took Ubers back.
Everybody had the same thought, we'd take Ubers back. So yeah, the hotel experience was really nice. We actually had a really cool suite. It was actually really, really good. We were on the first floor. The only thing I would have to say that we would complain about was the noise. Unfortunately, overhead.
I don't even think it was someone running around like on purpose.
I think it was just the carts, yeah.
They were just like walking, but the floors are so thin.
Yeah.
That it sounded like someone was just running around.
Like 11:30 at night, I had already started trying to like fall asleep. She was still awake. And it was just like bangs and roll, like you could hear literally everything on the ceiling, like on the floor. So it was just very loud. That was probably the only complaint we had about the hotel. But other than that, it was great. And then we had breakfast in the morning. Then we
Free
got
breakfast.
free breakfast. Then we went back to the room, and that's when we filmed more. Because we also filmed the night before, too. We filmed a bunch of stuff, and then we filmed more.
We got all the album reactions done.
Yes. Like, a couple hours before the concert. And then we ordered lunch. We had
Pizza.
We had Pizza Hut. Which I was like, I want some breadsticks.
And I got my cinnamon sticks.
Yeah, she got her cinnamon sticks, and I got my breadsticks, and so we were happy. And then it was so funny because remember, I was like, I had this weird like burst of energy, and I'm like dancing around the room with my breadstick. Remember? You're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I have energy. I need to get it out. If I don't get it out, it's gonna explode. So I was just like super hyped, especially because not only was the day of the concert, but it was also my 26th birthday. So I was just like extra hype. I was just having a great time. So then we kind of had like a little relaxing, and after we ate, then we got ready for the concert.
We got there very early.
We did. We got there probably about 3 hours early because we stood around for 3 hours. But we wanted to be there early enough where we could be, right in line instead of having to be at the end. But we ended up having to wait anyway because we weren't VIP. So, but I'm kind of glad in a weird way.
We made friends.
Because we made friends. We kind of just stood up next to this one girl who was standing next to the building, and we're like, hey, is this a line or anything? She's like, no, I'm just hanging out. We're like, okay, cool.
We'll hang out with you.
We'll hang out with you. We'll just stand over here. And we got talking to her, and then she had a couple other friends that came running over. And we just kind of formed this little, like, 5-person group.
And you guys bonded over BLs.
Yes, one of the girls,
Porsche.
Karen, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was Karen. We got talking about Twitter and like K-pop. We were just talking about other groups, and then we got talking about like how we're a reaction channel. We do like other reactions, and that we react to Thai groups as well. And she goes, Thai groups, and that kind of just set us off into this whole BL conversation. I was like, yes, and so I made a BL friend, and I was like, I'm slowly getting Kate into the BLs, but it was just nice to have somebody who already knew them, and we're like, do you know this one? I was like, yes, I do. Like, do you know that? I'm like, so we were squealing and freaking out over it. But they were amazing friends to have made and to, have as line buddies. Then we had a couple other people who kind of just slowly joined us in our little area.
Woman, I think her name was Kelly.
Was it Kelly?
I feel like it was Kelly.
It might have been Kelly, or was it?
It's just, for some reason, I got like Kelly vibes from her.
That, or it was like a Nicole or something like that. Either way, I honestly cannot remember. I'm so sorry. Like, we were so overwhelmed.
We're sorry. We're terrible names.
We really are. But we met this other wonderful lady who came over and kind of joined us, and she was also a BL fan and a K-pop, so we kind of got talking with her. And then we had another kind of group of people who thought we were lying, but then they're like, no, we'll just stay over here. So they were in like their own separate group, but they were with us.
And then a line formed behind them, and we got yelled at, and we're like, this wasn't even a line.
This guard. Well, first we were approached by like 2 or 3 other guards, and who said we were okay to be, because we were just standing in a group, we weren't forming a line. They're like, okay, as long as you're not blocking this one building. We're like, okay, we're good. And then this other guard came over and was like, hey, what's going on? Are you lying? We're like, no. And they're like, okay. Well, then, at some point, this rush of people just comes running behind us, and they formed a line behind us.
I don't see why, though.
I don't know why.
Who told them to come line
That's
up?
what I'm wondering. I don't know. But they came running over, and they started forming a line behind us, and we were still separated from them. So we're like, we're a group. We're not part of that. And this one girl who was in, like, the head of the line, she goes, I'm forming this line. I was like, okay, you do that.
You get yelled at.
Right. I was like, we're not part of that. But somehow, through all of that, it became an unofficial line that got formed. And this other guard, she comes over, she goes, imaginary line, what's going on over here? She was hilarious. And I'm glad that she kind of, like, yeah, she yelled at us, but she also did it in a funny way. So, like, I didn't take it, like, as angrily as it should have been. But she was like, imaginary line, what are you doing over here? We're like, we're not lying. She's like, oh, you're not a line? They're like, they are, but we're just a group. And so we somehow got lumped in with the line. And she goes, okay, how about this? Imaginary line, you guys form up.
You guys follow us over here.
Yeah, and so they moved us across the road, and she was like, I'm taking 25 at a time. And so we were like the first group of 25. And so we were like right in front of the doors right before it opened. So it was great. And in the new line, we actually got separated from our line friends, and we actually ended up making
We
some
made
more
more line
friends.
friends.
I don't know their names, unfortunately.
We never got their names.
We never got their names, but we were just talking to them about, ATEEZ, about different groups. We got talking about how, like, what songs are underrated and, like, which ones are bops, and then it got us off on tangents on other groups, and it was just super fun. And of course, it was raining, so that was the biggest issue. Was when we got there at like 2:30 or whatever,
It rained for like an hour.
It was raining nonstop. Granted, like, most of our clothes actually kept us pretty good.
We got the like water wicking hoodies.
Yeah, thankfully
goodness. I bought them.
Yes, thank goodness you had them. So for the most part, for like the 2.5 hours we were there prior, I wasn't really feeling the wetness or the cold or anything. It was only like the last half hour that we stood outside that I was like, okay, I'm starting to get,
like, my feet are freezing.
I'm starting to feel cold. I'm starting to feel wet. And then it kind of stopped raining for a bit, and we were happy. But then when we moved over in front of the doors, that's when it started raining again. Which made it incredibly difficult to keep our tickets out and ready to go as soon as they opened the doors. But we finally got in. But also during the lines, we were given freebies for the concert. One, which is really important because it was for Young's birthday. It was a nice slogan that the fans got together and made, that we had ready to, like, scream and just raise in the air and be like, Young, happy birthday!
But, like, no one raised them because for the most part they
got ruined, unfortunately, because of the rain. But thank God, like I said, the people we met in the other line, they had stacks because they were the ones handing them out, so we were able to get a brand new one that didn't get destroyed by the rain. Then we were also given this other banner, which was really awesome. ATEEZ, and then it's like, are you seeing this? Eyes on the sky, which is the slogan and everything. So that was really awesome. These other amazing fans made cup sleeves, which is really cool. ATEEZ Day. So that was awesome. And then my other freebie that I got, and Kate also got one as well. She got a Sungwoo one. But these amazing fans made.
They
gave
pretty
us
much made their own photo cards.
Yeah, they made their
from,
own photo
all
cards.
Different eras.
And we loved it. And they're like, who's your bias? And you could pick it. And I'm like, of course, my ult's Yoonho. So that was awesome. I got my Yoonho. And of course, like, their information's on the back for their IG and everything, so we can look at it later. And so then we get into the concert. We get into the venue. We get through security. We go right upstairs because we're up on, we're in the nosebleeds, like, legitimately the last row in the nosebleeds. That's where we were. But we had to go upstairs, and as soon as we get upstairs, she has to use the bathroom. So I said, okay, we're gonna find a bathroom really quick. And thank God,
there was merch right across from it.
Because, like, the one merch booth we had passed was, like, packed, and I was like, oh, there's no way we're gonna get merch. Well, thank goodness when we had went up and around, we went the other way from where people were coming in, and we found a merch booth that hadn't been attacked yet. I think there was probably, like, 5 people ahead of me in line. And so she had to go to the bathroom. I was like, okay, I'm getting in line, you go to the bathroom. So I get in line, and I'm like, I'm getting us merch. And as you guys have seen in our previous videos for my solo reactions, I was actually wearing the hoodie that I bought as merch. I also got her a t-shirt. Yes, we picked her out a t-shirt.
Which I still have to pay you back for. It'll happen at some point.
Like I said, I'm not worried. I know you will. But then I also was like, first off, we couldn't bring any bags. They would not allow bags. Like, some people were coming in with, like, these tiny little bags that they were allowing, but anything bigger than that, they were like, no. So I'm like, we were having to hold everything in our hands, and I was like, how are we gonna get through this concert? Trying to hold our, our lightenies and all that. So when I saw that they were selling bags, first off, I love bags anyway. I always look for new drawstring bags. But secondly, I'm like, oh my god, it's perfect. We can put everything in there. So I was so happy. I bought the ATEEZ drawstring bag, and I was like, that's expensive for a bag, I was like, that's pretty expensive. But then I didn't realize that it came with a surprise inside. It came with a second, smaller bag that was like a perfect little shoulder bag that I'm using as my purse now. So that made it even better. I was like, oh, that's why. There's a hidden bag. It's a hidden, separate second bag that you get. That's why the price is so expensive. And what came with the second bag too was another photo card, which I thought was awesome, and it has on the back the Fellowship Break the Wall from the tour, and it's the tour outfits, the cyberpunk outfits, which we were very much attacked by.
We were.
So yeah, the merch we got was awesome. obviously we had our version 2 light tinnies. Mine is actually over in the box right now. That was one thing I forgot to bring over to open up. But we were able to somehow, because it took forever to set up
We figured out
the
how to
apps
connect it.
to the app on our phones, and we finally got it connected so that we were lighting up with everybody in the concert when they were switching it. So now that we've made it into the venue, we get up to our seats. We have finally made it here. It's not a dream anymore. It's not gonna get canceled last minute. We're here. The arena vibe was insane with everybody there, with all the ATEEZ.
Even when it was like empty and still filling in, it felt like very hyped.
It was so insane. And then they were playing the album songs over and over again, and so they had everybody singing all the songs like over and over again.
And people were cheering after the song was
done. Oh my god, yeah,
like playing from a radio.
Yeah, it wasn't even like the group was out yet, but we were just like, we're hype, we're here. And then there was a moment, we had like perfect seating. I mean, not because we were way up in the nosebleeds or whatever, but we had perfect seating to see kind of behind the stage. So we could see when they were walking up onto the stage or like walking around, so we could see when shit was happening, and we're like, we got like the sneak peek of like, oh my god, they're coming. And so we would see that like something happened and we'd start yelling, and then the whole crowd would start screaming. And so it was like this crazy, incredible atmosphere. And then all of a sudden, the lights go down. Music starts playing, and we're like, where's this coming from? And then we see this line of guys just start walking out like around.
At least 10 guys.
At least 10 guys, and we're like, what is happening? Who are they? And then people around us are like, it's KQ Fellas too, KQ Fellas too. And I'm like, and so we got super hyped, because I'm like, I've been avoiding the KQ Fellas stuff just because I'm like, they haven't debuted yet, and I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to spoil anything.
But now we really want to watch their pretty new
Yes,
stuff.
Now we need to check them out, because
like after seeing them live.
Oh my god, they like
They
I had a couple pictures which you guys will be seeing as we're talking about this. Like I said, anything we talk about, if I have pictures or videos of it, I will be posting along with this video. It's just always talking over it. So there we go. But yes, so we have pictures of them coming out. And they're all lined up and they're waving to some of the fans, because they're like right next to like the fans on the floor and right next to the stage to walk up. And I'm like, oh my god, who are they? And they come on stage and they just start breaking out into song, and we're like, who are these boys? Like, there was one member in particular, I can't remember his name. He said it in the video and I didn't catch it, so I asked somebody next to me and I still don't remember what his name was. I'm gonna have to look him up.
What was he? What position?
I don't remember, but he's the one who had the shirt with no sleeves. He had his arms out.
I'll try going to their profile.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was, but
there's 10 members.
Yeah. I guess there's so many members.
Alright, so there's Minjae.
It might have been Minjae. Wait, let me see Minjae. It might have been Minjae. Okay. I know Minjae is an issue.
Sumin. Jinshik. Hyunwoo. Junghoon. Seiyun. Hunter.
Ooh, hello.
Yujun. Yechan.
I think it was Jinshik, actually.
Jinshik?
It might have been either Minjae or Jinshik.
No, it's Jinshik.
So yeah, it was either Jinshik or Minjae. It was both of them caught my eye either way, because I remember Minjae. But I think it was Jinshik. But Anyway, he caught me. He just came out and like his energy and everything, the way he looked, the way he was dancing. I was like, "Sir, you need to calm down. You're a baby." But they absolutely slayed the two songs that they did on stage. I actually do have video evidence of both of their songs, I think, or at least one of them. So that video will be in the video here at some point. So they came out and, you know, they performed, they introduced themselves, which is great, and then they came down stage, and so then we had a little bit of a lull, and then all of a sudden, boom, lights down again, ATEEZ, it's time, it's happening. And so we're seeing all these people come out in like hoods and stuff like that. They're all in like the capes, and we're freaking out. And then all of a sudden the platform in the middle of the floor of the stage lowered. And I was like, oh my god. We're like, it's happening.
Get on there and crouch because we're way up high.
We were so high up that we could literally see into it. We could see them getting in the platform. Like, most people on the bottoms, like on the floor by the stage, or like even like the lower floors, would not have seen that. But because we were so high up, we could see them getting ready. And it was amazing. And we see them come running in. And then they pop up out of the floor. And it was just an insane entrance. And when I tell you, like I said, like I said it in my ATEEZ reaction to Paradigm and everything on my solo stuff, they are so beautiful in real life. Like, we were just stunned. Like, honestly. Like I said, we knew Yosang was already stunning. We knew Songhwa was an issue. Like, but seeing them live was just a whole other. It hit so differently. And as I said, Mingi attacked me so hard. The girl next to us, who we made friends with, another ATEEZ, she was a Mingi stan. And I turned to her and I was like, Mingy's attacking me so hard. She goes, I know! And so we were both screaming it. Because I was like, Mingy just attacked me so hard. I literally was screaming Yunho every time that man's face pops up on the screen. You can ask.
Young, my birthday buddy.
Oh, yes. Every time, because we all made a pact that we were going to scream super loud for Uyang, because not only was his birthday the day before, but his grandfather had passed away. On his birthday. So we were just trying to give as much love and support, not only to the rest of ATEEZ, but to Uyang as well. And so every time he came on screen, I was like, Uyang! And because my birthday was that day and his birthday was the day before, I was like, my birthday party! And so I just kept screaming that. And it was just incredible. They... Like, we knew they were stage monsters before, but seeing them live was just like, oh my god.
It just really proves it.
Yeah, it just honestly proves how good they are, like, as performers on stage. And then, of course, our favorite song, their best song that we said, Answer.
They started with it.
And we're just like, this is not happening. Oh my god! Are they doing? Yes! Wow! Coming out like a thunder, 먹으려 채워 저는 대신 모두 다른 너희 위로 세상에 네 손을 보일 수 있게 손을 펴 선 위로 세워 열고 마주보고 세워 끝이 너 시작이 우리 뱉어내 기억해 밝은 분주하게 슬픈데 나야지 더 계속해보는 매일이 마치 알고 그 월별 기죽이지 마 시즌 파이어 너와 나는 프로 믿기 우니까 웃으면 들려고 미치는 거울이 우리에게 별게 아닌 걸 누구도 손댈 수 없어 다 붙였던 건배하다 like a thunder 이 모든 걸 채워 너를 대신 모두 다른 우리 위로 세상을 네 속에 보일 수 있게 Let's burn 불에 우린 지금 불러 타오르는 별빛처럼 불러 우린 지금 불러 네 속에 보일 수 있게 그곳에서 변화하는 시작 뜨겁게 기억해 둥글게 몰려다가 뺏어 이거야 프레이 우리 세상에 대게 알고 답이 없는 너도 죽고 우리의 존재를 밝히네 우리에게 별게 아닌 걸 물어봐 이렇게 두려운 것도 anymore 누구도 손댈 수 없어 다가를 붙였던 건배하다 like a thunder 모두 채워 저는 대신 모두 다른 우리 위로 세상을 네 속에 보일 수 있게 Let's burn 여기 모두 모여라 세상 모든 널 원한다면 무서워 두려워 했던 지난 나는 다시 기쁠 때고 우린 다시 모두 준비되었는가 우리 지금 몰라 타오르는 불꽃처럼 우리 지금 몰라 이 손을 보일 수 있게 타오르는 불꽃처럼. And so I cried. I literally got so emotional during Answer. Like, I was crying, and I turned to Kate. I was like, I'm crying. And she's like, oh my god. And so I'm like, I'm freaking out. And then I calmed down. And we got to hear the remix version, too, of, what was the song? Fireworks.
Yes.
It was the first time they were performing the remix version, and we're like, because I'm like, I'm sitting there singing the regular melody, and all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, this is not right.
different, and we're like, wait, what?
I got thrown off. I was like, wait, this is not right.
Something's weird here.
And then Gorilla comes on, and the whole crowd is singing along to Gorilla.
Like the perfect hype song.
It was so hype, because it had played like 5 or 6 times before the boys had even come on stage, and so like the whole crowd already was like in sync with it when it came on, so we were all singing the parts, we're singing along. I'm screaming my lungs out. That's how I ended up getting, between the rain and screaming, that's how I ended up getting sick for like a week and a half after the concert. Then we had a couple of, you know, like talking moments in between, which is really sweet and really fun. There was a part at the end where Hongjoon was like, this side is the cool side, this side's the cute side.
We were on the cool side.
We were the cool side, so we had the blue lights, and he goes, okay, cool side, and he'd like, scream, and we'd wave the army bombs, and they'd light up blue. And it was just a lot of really fun kind of crowd interaction with the boys. And then comes the performance that we were told and warned about ahead of time. Cyberpunk. I had seen the outfits, the stage outfits in pictures, but I didn't understand how badly they were gonna hurt until they performed.
Hongjoon called out all the fans after. He's like, don't like sexy too much.
Right, and we're just like, how can you say that when you do this? Like, what do you mean, Hongjoon? Like, you can't do that and expect us to not like sexy, like... Mingy's outfit. that, like I said, Mingy had been an issue throughout most of the concert, but during Cyberpunk, I was like, I'm gonna need Mingy to, like, take a seat. I cannot deal with his ass right now. Several seats. Well, no. We couldn't let them take a seat because they came out on chairs.
That's true. The chairs were deadly.
The chairs were deadly enough. He didn't need to sit down. He needed to sit in the corner. That's what he needed to do.
Just go sit down on stage.
Like, it was so funny because I remember we're getting ready for it. We hear the instrumental playing for Cyberpunk, and then we see the stage lower. And I was like, oh shit, something's happening. And then I looked down and I could see chairs. I was like, oh no, they have chairs. And then they started sitting on the chairs in their outfits. And I was like, they're in all leather. Black leather outfits sitting in chairs with their hands behind. I was like, oh no, here we go. And yeah, at that point, my phone literally ran out of storage, and I couldn't bring my camera because it was too big to bring in. So I'm like, my phone's out of storage. So at this point, I was like, hey, can you just film this one at least? I was like, I don't have any storage. Please film this. So she filmed at least, I think, majority of that one.
Yeah, because I think you asked me, like, shortly after it started, so
yeah, because I was trying to get it on my phone, but my phone, like, only, like, filmed, like, 11 seconds, and I was like, nope, you're out of storage. I was like, shit! So I was like, Kate, can you film this? So she got the majority of that performance. And obviously I filmed a couple of songs here and there. I definitely filmed Answer.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't know which other ones you filmed, but I know I filmed, like, 2 or 3.
Videos I have.
Because I know I only had like 2 or 3.
Like,
yeah,
the intro performance and
yeah.
Answer.
Because I think I only had like 2 or 3 because my phone literally, from the pictures and the videos, it like ran out of performance. So I know I have like the videos of KQ Fellas too, and then I had like Answer and a couple others for.
Oh yeah, I have a KQ Fellas video.
Yeah.
And then I have the intro performance, Answer, and then I got 2 more. I'll have to listen to them to see which ones they are.
One of them's Cyberpunk at least. But so yeah, that was incredible. And we were so high up that we couldn't see their faces. Like, my camera, it would blur every time I zoomed in. So I ended up like resorting to just filming the screen with their faces popped up. So I have pictures of their faces on the screen. But it was just an incredible, incredible experience. And then we get to the ending moments where they brought a cake out for Ooyoung. And we were singing Happy Birthday to Ooyoung. And I was like, Happy Birthday!
It in his face.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
And Paige.
Happy birthday to
They tried to smash his face into it, but it was like
surprise,
cardboard.
It wasn't cake. They said it was bread.
They're like, it's bread, and it was like super hard, and he goes, it's like cardboard. So like, poor Wooyoung. So then they had like fondant star chocolate, so they stuck it to his face. And I was like, he's so cute though. But yeah, we were screaming and singing happy birthday. Like, we ended up singing like 2 or 3 times for him, I think.
I know John was singing once.
Yeah. And, like, I remember when they were like, happy birthday, Wooyoung, and I was like, and Paige! I remember screaming that at one point. They didn't hear me, obviously, but I was just so happy to, like, celebrate my birthday with Wooyoung. And, like I said, during the ending moments, I got emotional as well, because they're like, okay, we gotta go, and everybody's like, no! You can't go! And, like, most of them had tickets for the next day, so they would have seen him again, where we only had 1 day, so we really didn't want it to end, because we're like, we're only here for 1 day, we have to go home tomorrow. But, and what was even better, too, Mingy, at the end, came out wearing the hoodie that I bought, and I was like, I have the hoodie! I was like, I have that one he's wearing! And it was just such an experience. Like, we've been to other concerts before. We've been to multiple concerts. But this one was profoundly different, I think.
It was better.
Yeah. Like, it's weird. It's weird to say.
Like, it was the same, pretty much, but it was better.
Yeah. Like, it's honestly interesting and crazy to kind of put into words what the experience was like. Because, like I said, I've been to probably double the amount that you have, I think.
Probably.
Just with the rock, like the, all that. But going to this particular, concert and arena and just the crowd interaction was so much better than any concert I've been to. Like, we've been to other concerts where the crowds are like, yeah, we love it, whatever. Even the rock concerts I've been to, like, they get hyped or, you know, mosh pits. But, like, this has been the most experience I've had where the crowd is just constantly singing songs. Like, constantly just, like, screaming and hype level. Like, to that extent. And as a group. Like, we've seen like a couple people here and there at concerts, but like this is like where an entire arena of thousands of people are just all at once, just as one unit, and it just was like it hit differently. It was a very emotional experience. It was a very profound kind of like spiritual moment for me.
There was also like some teamwork, and we did the wave for like at least 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, for 5 minutes it just kept going around, and we were just going around. And so it was
like, when is it gonna end?
Right, it was like, it was never gonna end, and then finally a song started, so that's when it stopped, and we're all like, okay.
Oh, I think that was when we were waiting for the encore.
Oh yeah, it was. That was. So it was just like this, like, truly spiritual, profound moment of just being with thousands of people who all feel the same way about the same thing. And it was just like, it was just this truly, truly beautiful, surprising and just grand moment, and we were just so happy to be there. And also too, it was also doubly kind of important for us because not only was it ATEEZ and was it just such a profound moment, but it was our first K-pop concert. We had been, you know, we've been scheduled to go to other ones that all got canceled last minute, and so we didn't really post about the ATEEZ concert ahead of time. We didn't want to jinx it because like we had done that before. We posted about it and then it got canceled a week before, so we kind of like, we said we were going and we were excited, but we didn't do like too many big posts up until it was happening, and then we're like, we're here, it's finally here. And then experiencing it, like, if you guys have been on our channel long enough here, you know we started our YouTube channel journey with ATEEZ. Like, I had already been a big fan of them, but the channel started getting Kate into them.
Because I heard their debut,
but she
I
wasn't
hadn't really listened to them.
Exactly.
That.
She hadn't really deep dove into the group like I had, where I was like, I know everybody, I love them. And so it was like a starting point for our channel. It was like the perfect starting point to be like, okay, I'm gonna get you into this group. We already know BTS, we already know EXO, like, whatever. You're gonna get into this group now. And we've been, you know, just on this journey of, like, you know, the past 4 years now of loving this group. Because it was funny. The channel started about 2.5 years ago, but ATEEZ has been out, you know,
forever.
For, you know, another 2 years before that. So I'm like, I had been deep diving. I was like, I love these guys. And so it was at that moment where we really started being able to follow their story and, like, really have a foothold on our channel for, you know, kind of the groups and stuff like that we were gonna really love, and just really a starting point for the channel. And so this was almost like a full circle moment for us too, because it was how we started our channel, and it was our first K-pop concert, and it was a group that we absolutely stan. Like, they're one of our ults, and it was just this beautiful, beautiful thing that happened, and I'm still kind of in awe that it did happen. Like, it doesn't seem real. You know, you ever have those moments?
Yeah, and then you think about it and you're like, wait, did it actually happen?
Yeah, like, was it a dream?
dream?
like there, like, especially after we got done with the concert and we came home, you know, we made our way out of the venue, made it to our Uber, we got back to the hotel, and I'm sitting there going, did that just happen? Like, I know it did, but, like, I'm feeling like it didn't feel real, like, didn't happen. And still to this day, I just sit there and randomly be like, that happened. Like, it's just like this weird thing. But it truly was so much fun. So we get back to the hotel, we get back to our room, and I'm like, I'm hungry. So I had leftover pizza, so I'm like, I'm sitting there eating. I think she had leftover pizza too.
I did.
So we were having, like, midnight snacks. Yeah. And then I laid down, and I'm like, I'm playing games on my phone, I'm watching Netflix, and I was like, it had to been like 12, I think, 12:30 when I lay down.
Like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And you were getting in the shower real quick. And
I felt gross, I needed to wash my hair.
Yeah, I was like, I'll worry about that tomorrow. I'm like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. And So I laid down or whatever, and I was like, oh shit, we gotta set an alarm because we had to be up early to get our Uber to get to the train station to be able to get to our train on time. So it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. She's in the shower. I set my alarm for 7 a.m. Because I'm like, we gotta be out. Our train was leaving at 9:30, so we had to be at the train station no later than like 8:39 at the latest. I think we ended up getting there at like 8:30.
Yeah, about out there.
Yeah, because we were there for about an hour. So we get to the train station, we get in there, and so we're sitting there, and it's really cool how the train station was set up because we didn't notice that on the way out because we were just trying to hurry up and get to our Uber. But they had like an old style board for the trains.
Like it was digital, but it was also old style. It
yeah,
made the clicking noise.
it made the clicking sound like it was flipping the numbers and letters and stuff like that, but it was all electronic, and so it was just really cool to see. And so for like a good hour, I was just staring at it. And then there was a point where I was like, did we miss our train? Because like our time came up, but our train wasn't showing.
And it was because there was another train at the same time.
Yeah, and then
so ours showed up first.
Yeah, ours came up right after, but I was like, where's our train? But I was like, okay, phew. So then we made it to our train on time. We hopped on that, and we had to get back to the Moynihan station in New York. So we got there, and we had what I think was it an hour?
An hour, around an hour-ish.
It felt like an hour, yeah, because we got there pretty quick. So we had about an hour. So we just kind of had to sit there, but we were in a different part of the train station this time than we were before.
Yeah, we were in like
the upper levels.
It was nice.
It was much nicer than the lower level. Much cleaner, much nicer. So we just kind of sat on the floor. You know, a lot of people were doing that. We get called over. We had to wait in line, and we had so many people on our train. The line went like looped around, like it was a full train.
But this was like the most organized train ever because they're like,
organized.
which destination are you going to? And we're like, Rochester, and they're like, okay, keep walking down to the next person, and they'll tell you which car to get in.
Yeah, because like the trains before, they were just like, pick whatever car as long as it's, you know, your coach or whatever. But no, this one, it was very organized. They had us going in like little groups at a time to make sure that everybody could get there safely, and in a quick manner. And they had like several of the conductors along the way. They're like, okay, where are you going? Okay, keep going. Okay, you're going in this car right here. So we're like, oh, thank goodness.
And like half of our car got off at Syracuse.
Right. So we're like, and then we had to wait another 7.5 hour drive home. And it was really funny because we kept making jokes about like telling the conductor to just let us just open the door and jump out because it literally drove through our town.
Yeah, we drove through our town, we drove through Lyons and Palmyra.
And we went through our
just
town.
Let us tuck and roll.
Right, we're like, we'll just tuck and roll. We have our stuff.
To pick us up, but it'll only take us like 10 minutes to get
like,
home from here.
Literally, my aunt's house is right across from the railroad tracks. I'm like, we could have walked over to my aunt's house, or we could have just had my mom pick us up there instead of taking us all the way up to Rochester and then having to drive an hour
back.
back.
Or my mom, because she lives closer too.
Yeah, true. And so it was just really funny that we literally drove through our hometown because we didn't think that was gonna happen because that didn't. We drove through Lyons, but we didn't drove through. I don't think we drove through Newark the first time.
We had to have.
We apparently just didn't notice.
We just didn't notice.
Apparently.
Because, like, there's only one railroad track that
goes
across.
Yeah, which is weird. But, so either way, we got there. It was awesome. We get back to Rochester, and then we had to wait for my mom to pick us up. And then as soon as we got out of the building, it was freezing.
We're like, we should have waited inside.
It was, like, 20-30 degrees out, and it was really funny because like in New Jersey it had been up to like 55-60 almost.
It was colder here.
It was so much colder here, and I was like, everybody else was like, be careful. And that was another thing too, when we were waiting for the concert, they're like, it's raining and it's cold out, so bundle up and warm. I was like, it's 55, that's spring weather, it's nice.
This is t-shirt and jeans weather.
Right, I'm like, this is t-shirt weather for us. So then we get home and we're like, oh my god, it's freezing. We're like in sweaters, just like, hurry up mom, get there. So then she picked us up, and we went home, and we got dropped off, and that was our trip.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. Plus, it was also just a best friend trip with just the two of us. We didn't have to worry about parents. We didn't have to worry about siblings. We didn't have to worry about schoolmates and teachers. It was just us. So, but it's really funny putting two introverts together on a trip when their anxiety is spiking levels.
My anxiety was fine the whole time. Yours was spiking.
I was spiking just because I'm so, like, paranoid about like being late for trains or like missing something, so like my brain was going on overdrive, and I'm like putting two introverts together trying to make sure everything's perfectly fine is just horrible.
And then leaving the venue, trying to get the Uber.
Oh my god.
And you're like, let's not walk too far. But we ended up having to walk really far just to get the
like
Uber.
a whole block away to the city hall.
So it's like, next time I'm just gonna walk like super far before we call the Uber.
My brain was like, because I'm like, we don't know the city, we don't know where we are. We're also kind of downtown, and it, like, you don't know who's around, what could happen. So my anxiety level was just like, "Nyeh." And then of course the roads are blocked off because of the concert, so it's like we had to go.
We literally had to walk anyway.
Yeah, so it was just like, it was just hilarious putting, you know, two introverted people, because I'm like, it's really funny. Out of the two of us, I'm the most extroverted. But when it comes to, like, planning and stuff, my anxiety level is like,
This is why I do all the planning.
yes. And that's why I was like, Kate, help me. I'm like, I'm freaking out here. But it was so much fun, like, having just a best friend trip. Just us two go, have fun, come home, and like I said, literally, like, the day after I came home, I was sick.
I felt fine. I didn't get sick.
Oh no, it part of it was too because my whole family got sick. When I came home, my cousin Erica had the flu, and she stayed with us for the night because she didn't want to go home by herself, and just in case. And so my grandma was like, okay, so she stayed on the couch. As long as I stayed away from her, I was fine. Then the next day, I was like, I could feel I was gonna get sick, but I wasn't like really sick at that point. But my grandma got the flu the next day. And then about 2 days later, like, I had started feeling a slight sore throat on Wednesday, and then Thursday happened, and I'm at work, and I could tell I was sick. Because at my work, even if it's really cold outside, our heater is, like, super strong in my office, so it's always hot. Like, it could be freezing outside, and I'm sweating in my office. So I usually have to turn on my fan. Well, that day, I wore my new sweater to work, and I'm sitting there, and I was freezing. And I'm like, my mom, she keeps blankets in her office for the days that it gets cold, like during the summer and stuff like that, spring. So I took one of her blankets, and I'm like sitting in my office chair, and I'm just wrapped up in a blanket, and I'm freezing, and I'm shivering, and I'm like half asleep. My boss comes in, and she goes, you don't look good. And I don't feel good. And so it was really funny because she comes in, and I'm like, tell me, I'm like, what is the temperature like in here? Does it feel normal? Does it feel like it's cold? And she goes, it's normal, it's hot. And like, she was sweating, and I'm like, I'm freezing, and I'm like, I'm having the chills. And she was just like, you go home, you don't look good, go home. And so she sent me home early that day. And at that point, from then on, for like the next week, I just had this severe cold, stuffed up, sore throat, coughing nonstop. And then after I got sick, my grandpa started getting a cold, and then my brother got it right after. So it was like this never-ending sickness in my family where everybody was sick. And then there was a moment where she's like, oh yeah, I have Monday off, we can meet up. And I was like, you can come over if you want, but my whole family's sick, so I don't think you'd want to.
It's like, never mind.
I'd love to, but everybody's kind of sick, and I don't think you want to get sick. And I felt bad, but I was like, sorry. But my grandma was so worried, and everybody's sort of like, is it COVID? Is it, you know, flu? I'm like, no, I know what I'm sick from. And I'm like, I know exactly where it came from. And they're like, where? I'm like, it's from standing outside in the rain for 3 hours. That's why I'm sick. It's because I was in the cold and the rain for 3 hours before the concert. And then that whole night, I was screaming my lungs out. And I told you, I said, I'm gonna have no voice. I was honestly surprised I even had a voice after the show because I was screaming so much. There was a part where I screamed and my voice just disappeared when I was screaming. I was like, ah! It just disappeared, and I was like, I looked at you and I'm like, my voice is gone.
It's like, okay, maybe that's enough screaming for one night.
But I was like, thank God I had a bottle of water with me, so I took a swig of water and I was fine. Just keep screaming. It was like, it just needed to be hydrated again. But, it was just such an incredible time. So, now we're just waiting to plan our next trip, our next concert.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully we'll have
What
money.
really bothers me is all the groups that decide to have concerts at the exact same time.
That's what frustrates
and
me.
you're like, we can't take all this time off of work.
If they were all, like, in the same area around the same time, we could do it. But because they're all spread out in different cities, it's like, we can't. It's like, dang it. Like I said, I was so mad about the whole, the other concert experience with Omega X, because it's like, we could have got tickets to Very Very, we could have gone to that one, and we would have been, you know, we could have seen Very Very, but we waited because we wanted to go to the OX one, and then that got canceled. I was like, are you kidding me? But, I mean, like I said, in spite of everything, I mean, it would have been great to see the boys, but I would not have been one of the ones to like force them to do a show when they're sick and dealing with all that. So,
and especially when we got like the super VIP tickets,
right?
And like a lot of the stuff VIPs were promised didn't happen.
Never happened. So yeah. But like I said, I digress about that one. But we are planning to the next time we can. There's many groups that we would love to see. So we're gonna try. So stay tuned for that, for more information when we figure out who else we're gonna go see. Then there's other people that I heard about, certain concerts that were not good at all. I'm not gonna get into that one, but
tell me off camera.
Yeah. I heard people paid a lot of money and it was just a bad experience, and I was like, oh, that says something. But yeah, so that was our ATEEZ concert experience. My cat's moaning and groaning. But we had a lot of fun.
We did.
So we hope you guys enjoyed our little concert update, and this is our concert
and
vlog.
The videos that will be edited in.
Yes, the videos will be in as we were talking over us, so don't worry. Photos will be added as well. Yeah. But yeah, so that was our ATEEZ experience. We had an amazing time. We hope you guys enjoyed our little update and our little glimpse into the concert for you. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.